I would like to advise all those present that notice of this regular meeting of June 12, 2024 has been provided to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey. Notice of time and place of this meeting has been included in the annual notice of meetings, which was posted and filed with the city clerk and with the Jersey Journal and the Star Ledger. An additional notice of time and place was posted and filed with the city clerk and was forwarded to the Jersey Journal and Star Ledger on June 10, 2024. The regular meeting of the Municipal Council of the City of Bayonne is now in session. Ms. Medina, please call the roll.
Mr. Booker?
Here.
Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Perez?
Here.
Ms. Weimer?
Here.
Mr. La Palusa?
Here, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item is the hearing on the calendar year 2024 budget, and which was approved at the meeting held May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board by summary as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution giving the budget a second reading. Who'd like to move it?
Move it.
Second reading is by title, the calendar year 2024 local municipal budget. And the council is ready for all persons interested to speak on the budget.
Mr. Gass?
Jason Gass, 73 East 25th Street. I saw an article, I think it's NJ.com, where the mayor is allocating $9.75 million of surplus monies to offset some of the tax burden for the budget, but he's still left with $15 million in surplus after that. I'm just curious, how much is the surplus that we have right now, and can the surplus actually cover the entire tax levy from the municipal budget and the school board, and possibly even the county, because the county taxes are going up too?
I'll let Ms. Maurer, our CFO, answer that, but the surplus, I don't believe is going to be able to cover, or else there wouldn't be an increase. But
So the total surplus right now is 15 million that's available. We're actually doing an amendment tonight, and we're using 5 more million of it. So there'll be $10 million left in our surplus. And no, that will not cover. The municipal levy is 99 million.
Correct. I saw that it was lowering it to a 2.6 amount, so I did some calculations. It's about 1 million for each percent. Is that accurate? The budget itself, when they say that we're going to be anticipating to get a 2.6% tax increase.
It's about a 2% increase from last year.
Correct. Now, what percentage of the municipal budget is the 2.6? Is it 1 million? Is it 2 million? Is it 3 million? We have a deficit. We have to make up a deficit. I think it was about 3 million or 4 million from last year. It went up from last year?
No. No.
Yes? No?
No.
not the
No.
deficit, maybe you're
The
saying it
budget.
wrong?
The budget.
No.
We have a tax roll that we need
No,
to
the
go.
budget increased from 97 million to 99 million.
So 2 million
$2 million.
increase. Okay. We have how much left over in surplus? 10 million?
Yes.
Can we just pay it with the surplus?
No.
Why not?
Well, then we would use everything we have, and then next year you'd have a 10% increase.
Yeah, but 2 from 10 leaves 8, right?
From what?
2 from 10 equals 8, correct?
$2 million. So if I use $2 million in the budget, it would probably change it maybe by 10 cents, the tax rate.
Wait a minute. The total tax rateable for Bayonne is what, 99 million?
The amount of taxes in the levy that just the municipal, that Bayonne is responsible for is 99 million.
Okay.
The entire levy, including county, is over 200 million.
Got it.
Okay?
So-
So we have $99 million in taxes that the city has to raise.
And the mayor decided to give almost 10 of surplus money to offset some of the burden to homeowners.
Correct.
All right, how much?
So we gave we're actually increasing it to 15,
But you still have how much left over, 10?
$10 million.
And that's held next year or next fiscal cycle for?
Right, it stays in what we call a fund balance, and then we could use it in next year's budget. So if I use all that surplus in this year's budget, we're going to start off in a $15 million hole next year and not have anything to put in, and it will have to be raised in taxes. It's like your savings account, it's money that's left there. So for next year's increases, I can use that.
To cover, I guess, Q1 of 2025, you mean?
No, to the entire budget. That money can only be used, it has to be put through the budget.
Okay, so the 10 million will sit
It'll sit there and in next
in
year's
reserves
budget.
for contingencies, things
No,
like that?
No, in next year's budget, if we need, we will use that money or some of that money to help with the increase.
But why can't we
in
use it
taxes.
now for this year's budget?
Because then it will use everything up.
Well, I'm fine with that.
You'll still have an increase, and then next year.
I'm
you'll
fine
have
with that.
nothing.
Raise my taxes next year if you have to, but
And
don't
next-
raise them now.
Next year, you'll have nothing.
I don't care. I don't want the taxes raised now.
Well, I can't, I mean, everything has
Is there
gone
something
up.
that we can vote on maybe to say we could use the money we have now to offset taxes and then
No,
next
but
year
it
we
will
could
not- I'm
You have
raise
to be- You have
taxes?
to be fiscally responsible
That the money-
for not
that-
just this year, but going forward as well.
That amount of money will not affect, it will be such a minimal effect. I can run the numbers for you quick. It will be such a minimal effect. You're talking about $100 million.
Yeah, but another 5 million represents 50% of what
The
you,
increase in the budget, if you look at the budget, you can go line by line in the budget and look at last year for this year. Mostly everything stayed the same. The contractual obligations, what's gone up is insurance, health insurance, pension costs, and any utilities, gasoline, things that we need to run the city. There's really, you can look at the budget, look, I mean, I have it here, line by line,
I sat with her for
and
an
it
hour and a
really
half
did
today.
not, it really did not go up that
I
much.
went through all the different departments. I want to look in case I could cut some fat off of
Yeah,
the budget.
There is
I mean-
no
There
fat.
was none.
no, I
An
get
hour
it.
and
The
a half
police,
today.
Has to cut surplus.
I'm all for police. They need the money. The firemen I saw went down. That was good, right? And you're getting sued a lot. I saw that. 40% of your budget is going towards comps and lawsuits.
No.
That was publicized in NJ.com as well. I think they referenced you in the article as the one saying it. You're the financial
Yes.
director, right?
No, what I said, the increase in the budget was caused by insurance, health insurance, and pension.
They actually mentioned like workman comp and
Right,
liability.
right, we have
Well,
to.
that's
Which
the
falls under
That's the
insurance, but-
insurance.
Right,
For the regular common folk, when they hear insurance, they think, all right, it's just health insurance went up. No,
all
that's,
insurance went up.
yeah, it's all encompassing, meaning to be
Auto-
financially
auto
fiscal
insurance.
responsible, you should also be ethically responsible as well. You shouldn't be putting the city in a position to go up 40% for liability and comp.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting the 40% from.
I could,
Donna just said it was.
I could send you the article if you want to
Well,
see it.
But the article's not right then. because it's
If
not
I
40%.
can, those expenses are third party. They're either pushed down from the state, we're in the state health benefits program, or we're required to have certain insurance. And insurance costs have gone up exponentially over the past couple of years. And I think it was 22% last year. So when you have that type of increase in 1 year, it's difficult at a municipal level because you have caps that you have to worry about.
And it's mandated that you have to have this. It's not even a
No, I
choice.
correct. I guess my point
No.
being is there any way, shape, or form where some of these insurance costs were avoidable? Whether it be by poor management or
There's nothing like
nothing,
that.
there's nothing, it was beyond your control to,
Well, we did explore, in fact, we're always in the process of trying to find if there's a cheaper alternative. But when you've got the state health benefits, I can give you an example in real life. 1990, 94 or 98, we decided we're going to get out of the state health benefits program and explore a private insurance. We did, and we saved a boatload of money. We found out a year later, we were saving the money because they weren't making the payments that they needed to make to pay our providers. And we ended up going back into the state health benefits program. This has been between 98 and 2002, I would think.
You can't have a lack of coverage like that.
In the union contracts, you've got the police, fire, and the municipal workers, and they say if you're going to switch insurance during the term of the contract, it's got to be similar, or it has to be the same, essentially.
Same type of coverage limits,
Correct.
things like that. And
And-
this went out to RFP, or
Oh, that was all done back in, yeah. So we've been in the state health benefits program for at least the last 15 years, maybe more than that. And that rose precipitously in the past 2 years because they were artificially, you have politicians down in Trenton, elected officials down there. They were keeping the premiums artificially low. And then when they couldn't do it anymore, you get hit. Instead of increasing things 2% a year, which is what we would do in our homes.
Jay, I don't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry, please, but I just want to read something. The increase in the municipal budget comes mainly from general liability and workman's compensation insurance, group health insurance, and pension, Maurer said, of the whopping 42% increase in these costs from $18 million to $25.5 million.
She's not wrong about that.
But it says here, I know what I read, it says workman comp. General liability and workman's compensation insurance, comma, group health insurance and pension. So workman's comp, like I stated before, is part of the reason why the increase is there. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement.
Okay, so how do we avoid all the workman comp claims? Are people getting hurt on the job a lot? Like, where do the workman comp claims come from?
You're coming out of several years, post-COVID, number one. Number two, people are filing more claims. I mean, 25 years ago, if you banged your knee, you probably went back to work the next day and just sucked it up. And that's not the way it works anymore. People are putting in more claims. And that's true municipally and in private practice.
There's nothing you can stop somebody from putting a claim, and I get it.
Well,
They put a
you
claim
have
in, it gets
OSHA rules,
investigated,
you try and live by the rules, you try and provide people with safety precautions and educate them, but people get hurt, and it's the way of the world at this point.
It said a whopping 42% increase from last year.
In the cost.
That's a very big number, Gary, 42%.
Very big.
And you have how much in surplus right now? 24 million or 15 million? No, before this 9.7 was allocated, how much was in the surplus? Does anybody know? All right, so you originally had 25 million in surplus. The mayor decided to give about 10. He left 15 for the next year. Now you decide to change it. Now you're doing another 5, and you're leaving 10 for next year. Can you do another 5 and leave 5 for next year? Why not? 10 is the minimum to leave, Jay?
But wait, Jason, I think it's philosophical more than anything. You're concerned about this year, correct? You'd love to just pay this
Well,
off?
I used to work in government contracts where it was a use it or lose it. When you had the money, you had to use it for the fiscal year, or you lost it for the next year.
This is not analogous to that. This is, we know that costs are going up next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. We're trying to plan over, we have an inability to tax and allocate money on the same basis as what our costs are going up. By way of example, if you, in your house or in your business, costs go up 20%, you've got to figure out ways to either
I know,
generate
like
20%
escrow
more
for
income.
paying a mortgage. I get it. You pay the mortgage company extra money in case taxes go up, and sometimes when you overpay, you get a refund at the end of the year. Anybody who owns a home knows this. What I'm saying is, how many projects do you have slated for Q1, Q2 of 2025 for development projects, revenue expected to come in? How many? Do you have something I could look at so we could see, hey, guess what? If we use the 10 now, we're going to make it up in the first 6
Well,
months of.
I can tell you point blank, you can't plan like that because you don't know, in government accounting, you
Other-
can't
other
guarantee
expenses,
that
other
that's going to
things
happen.
come up, and you have to have that money there for that emergency.
We went through this when we had the LRA, the Bayonne Local Redevelopment Authority, and we started counting on the money from down there, Jason. Every year, oh, we'll get 10 million next year, we'll get 12 million. We ended up being $36 million in the hole, operating deficit, knowing we're walking in January 1st of every year, that we are $36 million in the hole that we can't make up. And when I was asked, I think it was in 2004, what happens if we take this,
Armageddon.
yeah, what happens if we take this money to make up the budget? I said Armageddon. What happens if we don't take it? Armageddon. Either way, once you start, and government accounting forbids you from anticipating that type of thing. Like a sale of a piece of property, we were playing with fire back then with respect to saying, oh, we're going to get $20 million in on March 1st. And it doesn't close till August 1st. That was a problem back then. And you don't want to revisit those days. I understand that you're concerned about this year's budget, but we can't count on what's going to close next year or the year after.
Understandable, I get it, but I guess what I'm really getting at is the development deals that were structured are not performing well enough to stabilize taxes for the regular homeowner.
Can I jump in on
Yeah,
that?
that's not true at all.
Listen, and you've paid attention. I've been maybe considered as of late an opponent to construction. I've said yes in some areas, I've said no in other areas, but there is no doubt that over the period of the last 10 years, without it, your tax bill today would be 5 or 10 times higher than it is. There was nothing going on.
Well, hold on, if they were
You can't
taxed at
No,
the
no.
regular
Can't speak
ratable,
from-
if,
you wanna
let's
come
just
up,
say,
you can
Jay,
speak at the
tomorrow,
microphone
there's
when
no
it's
more
your turn.
abatements, and somebody wants to build a luxury building, you're gonna go in and assess, and you're gonna say what their taxes are. Now, they're gonna determine whether their internal rate of return justifies them to buy the property and build it and make money. Here's another question. All of these approved development plans that you guys vote on, are you seeing the internal rate of returns for these projects?
If they apply for a pilot, yes.
So what is the average percentage of the internal rate of return?
I can't give you an average because they're totally different. We've had people come in here looking for, with an internal rate of return, which I thought was ridiculous, and I believe the council thought was like at 1.2%, but they're in for the long haul for 30, 40 years. And they're saying, we think over time that the market will recapture that. Me and you looking at it like, why would I want to be in that investment? But that's their call. And a bunch of those ended up not taking place. What you don't know are the ones that don't go forward or the ones that get miniaturized. We had some that were supposed to be 18, 20 stories. Now they're going to 14 and 6. So the market changed. You know this. It's much more difficult to put a deal together now because of how the market changed. So there was a question back in the day when in 2015, how many of these projects are necessary? And people say, there's 40 projects in the hopper, that's too many. What's the right number? Well, the right number is about 20. Now, they have no experience in why 20 is the right number, but they said 20 is the number. And in the real world, at my lifetime, the market would have changed already, and we wouldn't have gone 40 for 40. The incredible thing is, over the past 10 years, 40 projects were proposed, and I'm just making up numbers. About 40 of them got built, which isn't how it happened throughout Bayonne's history. You went from 2000 to 2014 with one thing being built, one, the election. That's it. So you
No,
can't
I
predict.
understand. You got to get the ball rolling. I get it. But the ball's already rolling. Why do you still got to give them the same deals? Are the deals being restructured?
Well, they're
Are we
not.
getting more
Definitely
revenue
not the
now
same deals. There's more things coming to the city now than there ever
on a
was.
20-year term instead of a 30, correct?
Absolutely.
Or is it, are there percentages?
You
How about
can't
this?
go
If they,
from your
Jay,
seat.
how about this? If they sell within the first 5 years, right? Is there some clause to say, hey, we just don't want you to churn and burn and get the approvals, build it, sell it to somebody else, make a profit? Can you put some kind of contract law in there that states if they sell within the first 5 years, the city captures 50% of profit? It's to make sure that they're vested to stick with this deal, and they're not churning and burning and fleecing the city with these tax abatements to sell it to somebody else.
I'm going to defer to Joe DeSkillner on that one.
All right, Mr. Guest. So because of these urban renewal entities, these are limited dividend entities, and by operation of law, they are capped at the amount of what they can actually earn by state statute. I believe it's about 12% on that. So even on the windfall for thereof, if there is a sale or there are other provisions, by operational law on the state statute, there's a cap and a limit on that.
So if they happen to make a 50% return, they would give up 38% back to the city?
Back to the municipality, yes.
That's all I needed to know. Fair enough.
There's caps.
Thanks. All right, I'm hoping you can give another 5, but if you're saying you can't, Gary, I'll take the extra 5. Thank you for doing the extra 5, even if it helps us 10 cents, which I doubt it will. I think it's going to help us more than 10 cents a home, but we'll see. Continue, thanks.
Anyone else? With that, I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
I'll move.
Well, as I said, anyone else, if you want to speak, you come to the mic. And then just state your name and address, please.
Not the address. Oh, you say you're homeless, go ahead.
Maureen Hawth.
Could you move the mic down? We can't hear you.
Tell me you don't have it.
Maureen Hawth.
She doesn't
State your
have an
address,
address
please.
because she's homeless, okay? And the reason why she's homeless, because there's nothing right now in Bayonne to help her. She's been living on the streets for 4 months, and she's disabled. And every time she goes to look for help, no one helps her. No one. No, there's nothing for the women in Bayonne. There's nothing for her to go, but you have the YMCA for men. What do you have for the women? You did, but then all of a sudden now I think it's for seniors. You fixed it up and you got. So where does she go? They say go to Jersey City. Why should she go to Jersey City?
Ma'am, this is a
She-
budget hearing, not, you can speak on the regular comments, but this is about the budget now.
Okay, a budget. How come you don't build anything for the homeless? How come you don't build anything? You're building all
That's
these things.
not about the budget now. We're
Well,
trying to
tell-
close
no, but
this.
you tell me, where is she gonna go? Where is she gonna go?
We have a public speaking
Where
portion. If
is
you'd
she
like to
going?
come up at that time, I will
No,
call you
but
up
where is she
myself.
gonna go tonight? Where is she gonna go? So you, all you men and all you women are just gonna say the hell with her right now. So when I call up the Eyewitness News, I wish that you can tell them, where is she gonna go to live tonight? Where is she gonna take a shower? If this was your daughter or your aunt, where is she gonna go?
The city has many programs
No, they
that
do
help
not.
people.
She went to every one of them and they said nothing. No, they have nothing here. for her,
Office
nothing.
on Aging, the BEOF, I can
Yep,
go on
she
and on
went
about
there,
the
She
programs.
went there to Anna Gonzalez, she went to the mayor's
Joyce,
office,
Joyce.
everywhere. And
Yeah.
Joyce,
Okay.
nothing,
Yeah.
nothing, for 4 months.
Yep.
4 months. So you tell me, where is she gonna go? Give me a
Application.
name. Give me a name and she'll go tomorrow. Give me a place where she can go.
I don't
Come
have
on,
an answer,
guys,
other than
come
those
on.
departments. I don't have another
You
answer.
don't have it.
No,
Avenue
no, I
And
don't.
I
A.
think all of you should be ashamed of
Well,
yourself.
again,
All of you should be ashamed
ma'am,
of
you
yourself
never
to let a
contacted the
woman-
city council. The mayor never mentioned
The mayor
anything
does
about you either.
absolutely bull,
But I don't know
nothing.
who you contacted. If you would have contacted us, I would have personally made it a viewpoint to go out of my way. I see you by the Quick Check all the time.
Oh.
Never knew that you were homeless, though.
Yes.
Never knew.
Oh.
I know
see
you
me there?
probably don't recognize me, but I see you
Yeah.
on 38th Street all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
That's where
So
she
I
stands.
would have went out of my way to help you as a citizen, but let alone as the councilman, I would have gladly helped you out.
Well, then
So now
it's
that I
okay,
know,
then you can help
I'm gonna
me
have a
out
way
with
to,
your
excuse me, ma'am, you have to let me respond.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I will go out of my way to try and help you. I'm gonna take down some information and a way to get in touch with you,
Okay.
and I will make it a point that you'll get some help.
Okay, thank you so much.
But
Is
nobody ever contacted the city council, or I don't know if my colleagues were ever contacted, but you didn't contact me personally. I will make it a point
Okay.
Gary LaPalooza
Yes,
said
I
he's gonna
know.
make it a
I know, I
point.
saw your truck pass
Okay.
the other day and took
Okay.
down the number. Okay.
We'll all make a
Thank you.
concerted effort to work
Yes,
with Gary
absolutely.
on
Well, can
this.
she
Okay.
get it by today, by tonight?
Have you contacted the county social services program?
Yes.
Welfare.
Well,
Oh,
no, yeah.
Two of them, you have, and it was no help.
They put me in a
Even
hotel on
welfare
Tunnelly
department, I mean,
Avenue.
you know,
They
the
wanted to put it-
county
They
welfare.
put her down by
even, I mean,
Tunnelly Avenue.
this-
and
They did
she-
place you
they had to
somewhere.
live in that hotel down
St.
there.
Lucy's
It was all
shelter.
drug addicts down there. They were trying to come into her door. She had to leave, okay? She had to spend $60, but she didn't have to take a U-Haul to come, I mean,
A
a
Uber,
Uber
back
to
and
come all the
forth.
way back
If you
here.
could give me some way of contacting you and leave it with the clerk.
I could give you
I'll-
my cell phone number?
Well, could you write it down? I don't want
Okay.
you to say it in the
Okay.
public, because this is going out on TV.
Okay. And I do have an application down at 537 Avenue A,
Okay.
over a year already.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
If you could write your information
I
down, you
will.
could give it to the clerk, and I'll make sure that I contact you. Tomorrow, I'll be working on this tomorrow.
No address, so I'll just give you my phone number. 513.
You're very welcome.
Okay, no problem.
Can she have your number just in case, you know, you don't.
Absolutely.
You have it?
And I could give you my business card as well. Jason,
Just real quick, I forgot to mention something. In these deals that you're doing with the developers, are there any special assessment clauses with them, perhaps, meaning that if taxes do go up above and beyond, will they kick in extra monies to pay?
The deals across the board have a provision in it that it's the higher of X amount percentage of the rent or whatever they're
I think
taking
it's
in.
12 or
Or the ad valorem taxes that would be associated with. So it's a higher of the two. And the percentage basis is listed in, if you go to, on all these deals, I know you put in some Oprah requests, so if you look at, it's usually I think it's 4.1 has where the percentages are. And you'll see that there's a provision in there that we get the higher of the two. But we can't build in for real estate tax increases, because it's based upon their income on the property.
I get it, it's like a deal, like a profit sharing almost kind of deal.
And the other thing you said before, like, can we get in like 50%? We can't be partners on these deals. We don't have a financial interest in these deals other than to get revenue based on.
No, I get it. You're making a deal with them for a tax abatement, and the deal is, we're giving you the tax abatement, you give us X. We give you X, you give us Y. So there's no issues to put in contract that this is another stipulation of a tax abatement. If we're giving you a tax abatement, then you agree to do this upon sale. Whatever the state 12% max that they're doing, that they're allowed, I get it, you can't go against
Well,
state law.
We can't, we allow for transfers of the corporate entities or the, you know, as long as we're receiving our revenue, then, you know, whether you own it or Madeline owns it, doesn't make a difference to us. It's no different than any other house in or property.
I want to try and give other people a chance to speak.
All right, last point, all the projects are current with their revenue payments?
Donna, but at this point, yeah, we have audits on the properties done on an annual basis, and I don't think anybody's behind on there. Because if they're behind, then they lose their pilot.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else like to speak on the budget? Madeline, continue.
Yep, there's a motion on the table to close the hearing. It's moved by Councilmember Perez. Who'd like the second?
Second.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And now the introduction of the budget amendments.
So moved.
And it has to be read in full, and I apologize. Whereas the calendar year 2024 municipal budget for the city of Bayonne was introduced and approved on May 15, 2024, and whereas it is desired to amend said budget prior to adoption, now therefore be it resolved by the municipal council of the city of Bayonne that the following amendments to the approved calendar year 2024 municipal budget be made. It's from general revenue surplus anticipated from $9,750,000 to $14,750,000. Subtotal of general revenues, $55,607.69 to $60,915,607.69. Total general revenues is $155,907,532.29 to $160,907,532.29. General appropriations, municipal debt service excluded from CAPS, escrow service agreement from $0 to $5 million. Total municipal debt service excluded from CAPS from $13,123,321.28 to $18,123,321.28. And total general appropriations for municipal purposes excluded from CAPS from $20,252,073.46 to $25,252,073.46. Total general appropriations excluded from CAPS from $25,584,023.77 to $30,584,023.77. Subtotal general appropriations from $154,320,403.04 to $159,320,403.04. Total general appropriations from $155,907,532.29 to $160,907,532.29. Municipal debt service from $13,123,321.28 to $18,123,321.28. Total general appropriations, $155,907,532.29 to $160,907,532.29. And be it further resolved that this amendment will be published in the Jersey Journal on June 20th, 2024, and a public hearing will be held on the aforesaid amendment on July 10th, 2024. It's moved by Councilmember Perez, who would like to second it. And on the introduction of the budget amendments, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And that's it for the budget.
Before we go to 01, I'd just like to make a couple comments on the budget. I think a lot of people came here, maybe they didn't want to speak, but I'm curious about something, if you'd all indulge me. Just with a show of hands. Has anybody in the last 3 months been to a school board meeting? Has anybody in the last 6 months been to a county commissioners meeting? Okay. We're the first and last line of defense. Everybody knows who we are and where we are and when we meet. So our budget, we do the best we can to make sure it's lean, to make sure that it doesn't unduly burden the taxpayers, and I'm not thrilled with it. And there are things that I've been fighting for a year that I had hoped would be done prior to this. But we represent one of 4 cities that saw the highest increase in county taxes. Our school board, and I admit to the public I'm a school teacher in this district, raised 2%. But some young lady shouted out, did we take a raise this year? I don't know who it was. The answer is no. And over the period of the last 6 or 7 years, I don't think we have in that time. Maybe ask those questions at some of these other locations where your taxes are getting hit. We're doing everything we can. And as the responsible parties who have to face you here and on the street and in ShopRite and everywhere else, no, we didn't take a raise. No, we don't do things that are unnecessary or lead to an undue burden on the taxpayer.
There
Mr.
hasn't been a raise in the mayor or council pay since 1994. It's the only department that has not been raised in that long in
And-
the whole city.
And there are some kudos that need to be shouted out and addressed. You know, Mr. Giss came up here, and I understand your points, but it's I hate to, please don't be offended by this analogy, but it's the squirrel and the rabbit. The rabbit eats all the acorns, throws a party, invites everybody in the neighborhood, and he's a big hit, and everybody loves him. Dead by winter. The squirrel stored them all away, okay? This budget, these people up here, they all represent trying to make sure the whole city doesn't sink again. We crawled our way back from a deficit. We're no longer having to turn the key at City Hall January 1st and be in the hole. The debt of the city is being actively serviced. The debt is going down. I think we're probably one of the most fiscally sound cities out there. And in the future, hopefully the near future, we got surpluses more than we need, and it's not only will taxes be stabilized, but possibly a reduction, a reduction. But there are external forces weighing on us. You know, and the two women that came up here and spoke, it was a homelessness issue, but it is a budget issue. Because, you know, in the budget, we do have monies for rent control, which over 8 months ago, I tried to bring back. It would be of no cost to the city to institute workforce housing for the new developments that are coming in as a part of their program, as a part of them coming. And this would stabilize rents, and this would keep people here, spending and working and stimulating the economy in this city, making it even more possible for us to keep a budget that is reasonable and beneficial for all. So I just, you know, I think that needed to be said before we moved on to the rest of this budget. I'm going to continue to introduce these things, and I hope in the near future we get them done, because it all leads to fiscal soundness. So that's all I wanted to add.
So I want to add something to that. There are many questions about the workforce housing, the rent control. I can't say I'm for it or against it because I'm still waiting for a couple reports to come in that we were promised. And when I get that, then I will be able to make a decision. But as far as the budget, in the past, and I've been here longer than anybody as far as a council person, the council budget was based on revenue that we'll get later on. So they kicked the can down the road and they borrowed $25 million every year. They did a shell game between the LRA and the city and all that. Jay, I think that's what you were referring to. Jay and I obviously have been here longer than anybody else on this dais. But they anticipated that all this building is going to go on down the military ocean terminal, and it never happened. So now we were stuck with this huge deficit. This administration, this council, the council before it, took the bull by the horns and chipped away at that. So now you don't have that huge deficit that you had. And when we talk about fiscal responsibility, I know you threw it back at me as if it was a bad term. It's not. It's something that we have to look at. You had your say, you have to sit down and let me do my talking now. No, I don't think so. I think you had your turn, and now I'm going to say what I have to say. The fiscal responsibility of keeping that money in that surplus, because you don't know what's coming up next year. I have no idea. Some emergency, something else could come up. So I have to keep that money there. Things went up everywhere. They went up total. Think about your public service bill. Think about your food bill. But this is accessible. Once a month, we have this meeting. You could come up here and voice your opinion, and we welcome it. I love hearing from the public. The more, the better. You told me before, when I said hello to you, you said, I'm not going to like what you have to say. You could come up here anytime, even if I don't like what you say, I want you to be able to have your say. Having said that, it's unfortunate because most of us here own homes, and when the taxes go up, our taxes go up too. We don't like raising taxes, but This is life, and this is what happens. I can't go to public service and complain to them. I can't go to the supermarket, because I don't think anybody's really gonna wanna hear me at the supermarket complain about the food prices going up. But you could go to your council meeting and tell your council person, I don't like my taxes going up, and I'll listen to you and sympathize with you. But this is real life. I can't go to the fireman and go, I wanna cut 10% of you, or I wanna cut 10% of the police. You know why? Because I want that security out there. I want those firemen working for me and those policemen working for me. The city budget, if I was to cut 25 people, their salaries wouldn't even make 1% of the budget. Maybe a 0.5%. I don't even know what the percentage is, but it's less than 1%. There's nothing else for me to cut. I went through this, I met with the CFO twice, all the council people are concerned and met with her as well. This is the reality of what we have. Okay, I said my piece. If you would like to speak on the budget, you're welcome to come up.
I would just like to I really don't understand.
Please come up to the microphone. State your name and address.
Leslie Cohen, 91 West 46th Street. I just don't understand what the apartment buildings contribute between the time they're built for the next 20 years to the city. They use our water, they use our sewers. What do they give us?
Well, there's a different deal for each building, so you can't, it's not one blanket formula. But they give us money in a pilot.
I don't know what that means.
Okay,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna have Mr. Skillender explain to you how
Hi.
that works.
what's your name?
Hi, my name's Joe Skillender. How are you?
Skillender?
Yes.
Okay.
So, with the apartment buildings and the new apartment buildings being built, pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law on that,
Not even just the tax exemption, just what do they give us? What do they contribute?
Well,
Do
well-
they build parks? Do they help with the infrastructure? Do they take care of they have 100 people inside? Do they fix the sewer systems for us so that we can handle the water
Yes, they do.
overflow?
So part of it, and especially with all the newer development going on within the redevelopment agreements, we are asking for money to be allocated towards public improvements as parks, infrastructure improvements. Also, as any new development that occurs, there's a water connection fee, a sewer connection fee. So the best way to describe those fees to our water and sewer systems are like a country club, a membership to a country club. So where you have to pay into the general membership of it, and that's their fee. So these fees that these new buildings, are in the tunes of a couple $100,000s for, each of the buildings being built. When it comes to the tax abatements on that, part of the financial agreement that's done with the city is that it's a revenue sharing with the municipality. They're still paying the land tax, but the improvement on the building itself, the city gets a portion right off the top
But
of.
tell me, what do they give back to us? I mean, I don't know what the numbers mean. What do we see as we drive by and we see these, it's nice to see the development, but when they first came, the city was suffering.
Yes.
It's not suffering anymore. It's a sought-after city.
So depending on.
So you don't need to be doing what you did 10 years ago. And I just don't understand, because I live in a house that never flooded, and it's starting to seep water, and I'm wondering, gee, are all these new buildings, the building at the corner on 46 and Broadway, is everything the new three-family that supposedly was bringing in his family that wound up renting it out? All these new developments, how are they helping us? I'm not talking about in 20 years. I'm talking about now. Are they putting a little park for the locals? Are they contributing? I don't see it. And if they are, then I think you should do a better job of explaining to all of us so that we just don't feel like we're the beasts of burden carrying the load for them for the next 20 years.
So we are doing that. So, specifically, and again, while this is more project-specific on it, we've been, for instance, with the old Villanova site. In that redevelopment agreement, we were able to help fund the park improvements to 11th Street for Buddy Baseball. So they're contributing
But-
$500,000 to park
That
renovation.
seems like a decent number.
So it is an extreme number, given the fact we also, to our planner Sue Mack and her efforts on getting federal grants in that, where we are going to have a state-of-the-art, beautiful baseball field for Buddy Baseball. But again, some of the, funding, for the entirety of the project, couldn't be done by grant money. So we had contributions made by, developers in the redevelopment agreement. So that's just one instance. With 26 North, and that's coming up tonight in that redevelopment agreement, there were several concessions that were made in that. So specifically the 12th Street and Kennedy Boulevard, is it Kennedy or Avenue C Park by the 7-Eleven. But that park, there were, they had contributions, financial contributions to help the beautiful.
Clark Park.
Yes, that one.
What did the buildings that went up beyond Costco contribute? That went out to, I mean, honestly, the boring, and I'm confused now in my wording, because I'm feeling uncomfortable being up here speaking like this, but what did they contribute, all of those buildings that are building out to the sidewalk that don't even leave earth in front of them? What did they contribute? What did each one of those 6 or 7, or as you go down to Moppy, what did they give back to the city?
So again, the ones on Moppy, that was a property that was paying 0 taxes. For the most part, it was owned by the Port Authority or even by the city of Bayonne of, again, non-taxing entities.
But
So
are they paying taxes?
they are paying property taxes or pilot agreements right now, yes.
Of what?
Well,
Financial-
I think
It's-
when we say pilot,
Yeah.
which we throw around so cavalierly, it means payment in lieu of taxes. So what the general public sometimes hears is they're not paying anything.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's absolutely, positively not that. What the statute allows for is as an incentive to get people to come to municipalities like ours that maybe had a troubled period, is to offer a developer a chance to get 5, 6, 7 years of solid development ability, so where they're not getting hit with taxes right away. And Jersey City went through it. Downtown Jersey City, when I was going to St. Peter's Prep in the 80s, was a war zone. And you go down there now, it looks like San Francisco when San Francisco was San Francisco. And they did that by incentivizing entities to go down there and take over the old Colgate place and Exchange place. And they incentivized them to go there. And they got 20, 25, 30-year pilots there. And it's payment in lieu of taxes. So it's not real estate taxes like we pay on our homes. It's a payment plan over 30 years that assures them this is what you're going to pay over the next 30 years. They can then go to a lender and say, listen, we've got a fixed obligation here. We can accurately predict what it's going to cost us to develop this place, and this is going to be the rate of return and the revenue we're going to realize over time. And it gives banks and lenders and investors a feeling of certainty that otherwise.
What did we get between the time they were built and the next 6 or 7? What did
Well,
the city
I
get back?
I can tell you that we had a 36 million, as I said before, a $36 million operating deficit, and now we don't.
Because of something that
Because of
they
all
did
this,
us?
all the development that came in and the payment in lieu of taxes the money generated by this development, that we used to have a tax assessor named Joe Nichols, and he would say, you know how many things got built when we didn't have pilots? This many. Nobody came here because they could go to other towns, Jersey City, Harrison, wherever, and build there and get these pilots. So we were operating with our hands tied behind our back when it came to attracting investors. And look, Bayonne had a nice run. For 100 years, you didn't have to leave here. You could work here, get a good education here, there were jobs. It was wonderful. But it was based on dirty industry, filthy, dirty industry. And industry picked up and left. And like on a Tuesday in 1994, Bayonne, we grew up in, died. And we,
You're saying, though, that I can tell my friends and other people, if I choose to say it, that the apartments that have been built have somehow managed to lower our deficit, even though they're not physically giving us money, somehow.
No, no, wait, they are
are.
giving us money. It's called a payment in lieu of, just because it says payment in lieu of taxes, it's the same thing. They're making a payment, much like we do on our homes, it's called ad valorem taxation. We pay our taxes, and our taxes go to three things, basically: the county, the school, and the city. A pilot takes out everything but 5% to the county, and then technically, you'd say nothing goes to the school. But the municipality takes in a whole load more money than they would under regular taxation. Now, as you as a taxpayer, when you're going to pay your tax bill, you don't go into three different parts of your wallet and say, this is for the school, this is for the county, this is for the city of Bayonne. You pay one tax bill. How it gets whacked up with the city, the county, and the school, people really don't care. All they know is they can come here and complain about the fact that their taxes are too high.
But you're saying that they are paying.
Yes.
Millions
You're not
and
saying
millions
they're not
and
gonna
millions
pay
of
for
dollars.
20 years. You're saying that they're giving back somehow in a way I don't understand.
They're paying,
That they
through a
are.
different calculation, a boatload of money. And we've generated enough annual revenue that we no longer have this unbelievable operating deficit that we had 15 years or 20 years
But
ago.
if you say that they paid back 36 million, if I'm understanding, then if we have that 10 million deficit, shouldn't that be pretty simple to get more,
As more and more entities came here and invested it and put their money into Bayonne, our fiscal situation improved. And we're right now in the black.
Well, honestly, I learned something I never knew. I thought these places just were going to keep on
Tell
taking
everyone.
from us.
Tell
I'll
everyone
try.
you know.
I
When
will
you leave
try.
here tonight,
Well,
and you
it's
go on
hard
the
because
internet,
I
tell them
really-
what you heard.
It's really hard, except, just
It-
to
it-
say
it's
that Jay
just-
Coffey said that they're paying.
No, it's just a different, it's a way to incentivize investors to come here, and then the incentive has changed. It used to be we had to beg people to come. Here's a 30-year at 10%.
I know, I've been here for over 30 years to know how desperate we were. And, the town was really desperate. I remember that.
Right.
Doria was here. But, I'll shut up now, but I just have one more thing, the Texaco site. There was talk that the studio backed out. Is that true?
Absolutely, positively not. In fact, in one bit of good news, we have from the governor's office today that the film studio, Togus, was approved by the state of New Jersey for $400 million worth of tax credits. That place is not going anywhere. We're going to have a movie studio. It doesn't take any money out of our pocket here in Bayonne. It's going to put a boatload of jobs into Bayonne. It's going to help. There are community benefits associated with this Aspire program that we visited upon the children and the adults in the city of Bayonne. They're committed to coming here. They're going to be our biggest taxpayer at some point. And it's going to be the
Well, that's great to know, and that you should be proud of. And that, I don't know why one of you doesn't take the position on Bayonne Talks. That's the only place I know of. And be positive back and tell these things.
Well, the problem
unless
is
they
the
don't
next
want you,
person on Facebook who has their opinion changed will be the first person on Facebook to have their opinion changed. It's tough. You can spit it. I can go on Facebook and spout fact after fact. I write numeric paragraphs.
But where else is there? There's no more newspapers. There's no place to go.
The city website.
But where's the city where am I gonna read that news? Where am I gonna read that news if I go to the city? Is there a place that says current
It's just
news?
the things on social media are they're jaded a little bit. They're not always correct.
Right, so give
There's-
us some place to trust, unless you want us to bombard,
Trust us.
60
We have
60,000
a
people.
Follow our
monthly meeting.
social media.
We have a
You don't
monthly
wanna
post
meeting.
all
ask
these
each of
things.
us individually, though, so that's why I feel like if there was some,
But there's
What-
so much
Public-
information. We have a monthly meeting. You're welcome to, you could even watch it at home. It's televised.
well, I guess,
so.
it's a little bit easier for me now to possibly make a once-a-month meeting than
Okay.
it's been in
But
the
the
past.
the meetings,
But
but,
the other thing is there's no parking. You want a lot of people to come. How many people are going to run around each street looking for a parking space or pay an Uber? I mean, that's what I was down to today, was debating it. Okay, am I going to pay $10 each way to go to a meeting?
but the fact of the matter is you can watch it on your computer, you can watch it on
But then
TV.
I'm not able to speak to you.
Understood. But the information is there, and you can go and look at it anytime you want. The meetings from last month and the months before are online. You can go watch them.
I get
Uh, For the central
And we can, like,
repository for
send
information,
emails
you're
to
right.
them.
We don't have newspapers anymore, and that's a tragedy.
It is.
For people. But the fact of the matter is, we're of a certain age where we still would like to thumb through a newspaper. People, that little kid over there with the beard,
I'll
he
watch
doesn't
it
read a
on-
newspaper.
I'll watch it on the internet. Just give me Bayonne Speaks coming from the council and the mayor. I think a lot of us would be happy to know what's fact and what's not fact.
Well, maybe we need to find an advocate within the community who could convey this on a social media platform.
I mean, maybe, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I am on a site for Naples, Florida, and the mayor encourages that site. That is their site. That's how people get their information. Why would you want us to all
Dr.
go
Ryan, you
around?
want to add something?
Yeah, hi, I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, when we have press releases announcing things, they're posted on the city website. We also send them to the mayor's Facebook, and we do send them out to local electronic media. And I'd like to point out that Al Sullivan, who is a reporter for Tap Into Bayonne, covers all these meetings, and he writes news stories about Bayonne on Tap Into Bayonne. We send the press releases to the Jersey Journal, which actually still is in business, and from time to time, they actually print some of my press releases.
I do pick up the journal, and who are you?
Joe Ryan. We've dealt with each other before.
This is the man I told you about earlier that fixed the glitch with the police station not putting in the information that needed.
All right, let's
to be
wrap
done.
Let's move
this
to the
up because
next
we have
item.
other business we
Okay.
have to get to.
But maybe,
So-
why couldn't you, if you have 60,000 people or 40,000 people, why can't you just shoot an email out, blast, like any other big corporation does?
We don't want to raise the budget and hire more people to do that, so.
Well, listen, a lot of people don't do 40 hours a week that work here. That's, I mean,
I don't
so
want to
they
get
could work
into
a
that, but
little
there's
harder.
people here that work very hard. I'm just
I know
saying.
some do
Yep.
and some don't.
Yep.
But maybe you could give somebody who takes a lot of cigarette breaks something else to do.
Okay, on that note, where are we?
We're
Madam?
moving on to 01,
Okay.
which is postponing an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, to amend the financial agreement for the long-term tax exemption by the entitled Bayonne Redevelopers Residential Urban Renewal Block 780 LLC with respect to Block 722, Lot 1, and Block 790, Lot 1.01, to the meeting of July 17, 2024, at 6 p.m.
Move it.
And on that postponement, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
02 is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limits and to establish a cap bank, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held of May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on second reading, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. I'm opening the public hearing on O2. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
03, I will take a motion to postpone.
Motion.
Move it. Second.
And on the motion to postpone, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer.
Mr. Maselli, did you want to say something?
I would like to say something, yes. We are carrying this tonight. I heard the gentlelady discuss the benefits of development. I want the council to be aware of two things as we go back for a month and think about this site. The person who's been involved in this didn't just bring this year. He brought it 3 years ago. He's been patient. So let's give this the time and attention that it deserves, and let's do a better job communicating about this project with each other, so that not only does a developer not suffer, that's my job, but so that the community doesn't suffer. She asked, what benefits? Well, I got one for you, a community facility that we haven't had. We've been talking about one since 2014, but we don't have one. We got one on the table here, and this is being delayed, failure to communicate. And I'm just asking you, in the next month, let's do a better job so that we can get this project approved and get some of the benefits that we've been talking about. Because there are a lot of benefits, not just financial, there are unseen things. All of my clients give back to this community like I do. And delaying it any further, I understand we need to talk a little bit more. But please, understand, this isn't the message we want to send to people who are trying to invest to make this a better place and to pull us back from where we were in 2014 to now, and then to keep pulling us forward so that we don't ever get there again. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on the resolution to postpone, Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
04 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and Chapter 35, Zoning Regulations, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
On the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and Chapter 35, Zoning Regulations. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
On the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
05 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held May 15th was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by Councilmember Perez, giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Carroll, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you? Omar El Garhi, 24 West 40th Street. So I was here at the first meeting about the short-term rentals. I just didn't know about the May 15th meeting. There was a May 15th about short-term rentals, correct? Or
That was just introduction.
Oh,
The
was it-
public hearing.
Okay, very good. So what's the adjustment that you guys are doing? Because I'm a little bit unaware. We were here for the other
The
meeting.
Director of Planning and
Okay.
Zoning will explain that to you.
Hi, how are you? So the changes really here are more very minor in that on kind of clarifying the different types of days there. It's not really changing the format of it. So as we were going through, just so you can understand where this amendment came from, in trying to create the application online, certain technical programs, that we had to address, came about for there. So like some of the changes, and I could walk, through them with you on, clarifying the differences between calendar days and business days. Again, it just said days. I think for the sake of the benefit of the public at that point, they should, really know, and this ordinance should be very crystal clear as to what that is. They were also, again, just some minor little grammatical errors too, that were being updated in that regard. But for the, there was no substantial changes to the ordinance. This is just clarifying, really, some of the days on that.
So I had a few good questions. So the grandfather-in situation, that's still in the ordinance, right?
Nothing was taken or added into this ordinance on that, so the grandfathering clause of, that is still there.
So if you own one and you're occupying it, you could do another one if it was in service before,
Before the adoption of the ordinance, yeah.
which is July 1st, or?
Well, the effectiveness of it, I'm trying to find where it is, but, yeah, it would be July 1st, 2024.
July 1st, 2024, so you could still do that situation? Okay. And so no major changes, it's all the same situation as
Yeah,
the one meeting we had a while back?
Yes, it is, like I said, it's just, clarifying it, of calendar days, business days, and also, again, if there was a inconsistency for that, it was corrected, but again, those were dealing with the days.
And the application will be online? It won't
The
be here in City Hall? You don't have to come physically,
You
or?
will be able to go into the city's website. We're trying to do this as a jot form and make this as user-friendly and accessible to the public as possible.
So you just provide like your ID that you live in this location, and then you get the permit for the property, like the
Yes,
whole property?
again, there'd be, we're still,
Are you still working?
we're still finishing up the final touches on doing the full rollout on that. But again, for the jot form, application, ownership, affidavits, proof of residence, proof of insurance, again, those type of documents that are already listed in here are going to be asked for.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
Anyone else on 05?
I forgot to ask something on 03. When can I ask? I just want to know what.
So 03 was tabled until next month.
Oh, are they renovating or tearing down?
It's for a new building,
Oh, but
a new development.
I'm a member there, so are we going to still be able to go there?
If they finally close, no, but they're still open right now, so.
They're gonna.
When you go there, ask them that question, I'll have them answer
I didn't
that.
even know about it till the.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Madeline?
No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to
Move it.
close?
Second.
on the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move it.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
06 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 17, Property Maintenance, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by Councilmember Perez, giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Booker, will you second?
Which
On-
one are we on?
06.
06.
I have a question.
Hold on, let me get through the process.
Oh, okay.
And on the ordinance for second reading, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
The second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 17, Property Maintenance. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak.
Let's go.
Okay, so, is there a chance that we can take one of these properties and turn it into a shelter for the animals, and before you all...
They're privately owned. You'd have to contact a private owner to ask
Well, maybe
them,
if you
and
could
then
give
they'd
us a
have to
list,
have-
some of the realtors in town could go after some of these people and try to make some kind of a
you're gonna-
deal with
that-
them.
That would have to be done on
So
a-
how
on a
would we know which
case-by-case
properties, could you give us that list? And the other thing is just as regarding, I know that you say there's no money for a shelter, but I have an idea that if we
There
have
was
a...
money put aside, one of the developments on North Street gave us $750,000 towards an animal shelter in Bayonne. The property has not been determined, and probably more money has to be raised, but there was a start for it, and it came from new development.
But where, you say there was a start, but where is the continuation? And why is that being not public knowledge so that we all have
It
some
was
hope?
public knowledge, it was done right here in a public meeting.
Okay, so I have an idea that if we were to put a shelter and we were to get a
Okay,
private
that's a
vet,
conversation you and I could have after the meeting,
but
but
it's very
right
hard to
now-
reach you.
But it's not hard to reach me, you could walk across the street
I know,
where
I don't want to
live.
take your private time.
You know?
I mean-
so- You have my telephone number, I would always call you back if I didn't get you.
Okay, but why wouldn't that
But
be
even
for
after this
now?
meeting, we
so-
can speak if you'd like, but for now, I have to keep to the agenda.
Okay, I don't mind that, as long as you can give me a half an hour of your time. I'll make an appointment
I'll
with
give you some time, I don't know if it'll be a half an hour,
Okay,
but I'll give you what I
I'll
can.
take 20 minutes, if that's okay.
I'll give you what I can, I said,
Okay,
okay?
so I just wanted to be known, I believe that there are solutions to
Okay,
put that.
but Leslie, I have to stick to the
Okay.
agenda, thank you. Yes, Jason.
Madeline mentioned that, I guess this was posted in the Jersey Journal or outside, I guess for the public to read, what the ordinance is. Is there a way we could now post these ordinances online?
They are.
Okay, where would we,
They're on the website.
on
Bayonne
the, on the
website.
Bayonne website?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all I want to know, thanks.
They're also, Madeline, do you put them on the bulletin board as
They're on the
well?
bulletin board, they're available
In
in
the
my
hallway.
office.
So at any time, somebody can go on the City of Bayonne's website and they can read the ordinances and be ready for the meeting when it comes out?
Yes.
Great, thanks.
Anyone else? No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
Move it.
Second.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Move it. Yes,
No,
aye.
no. And on the resolution for final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
07 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, which was introduced and passed a first reading at the meeting held May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president, giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. Any questions on 07? No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move it.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
08 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Chapter 7 Traffic, which was introduced and passed at first reading at the meeting held May 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 12th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by Councilmember Perez, giving the ordinance second reading. Ms. Weimer, will you second?
Second.
And on the second reading, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 7 Traffic. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
So moved.
Second.
On the resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Our first speaker is Ms. Riscart.
Good evening, council. First, I want to say something about this movie studio, that where it's coming from is Michael Boswick. That's number one. Number two, he's the main developer in Bayonne. Okay? Somebody's given this man the authority, and Gary, don't shut me down, the authority to do whatever he wants. I want to know who gave this man the authority, who gave the authority for this coronium hexavalent to be put around the town along with this formaldehyde. I'm tired of people saying I'm crazy, because if I was, I wouldn't be standing here and I wouldn't have put this whole story together. There are times that I am about to fall on the ground and stop breathing. And that Aaron's Gold is part of it. For his nephew to say to me, I can't wait to see you, your family, and you die from formaldehyde is sick. And where would he get that from? And you're talking about a 2-year-old baby, my daughter, my family, and myself. It's insane and it's sick. Where is it coming from that everybody is running? doctors, lawyers, and the city when they see me, and being humiliated and laughed at by some, not all, of the Bayonne police and the people in town harassing me every day. Thank God I'm the person I am, because I'd rip your hair out of your head. Where the audacity does your town, this town, let this happen? I want to know who gave the authority. And more, that's why the houses are burning down. If people, when they walk Broadway, when they walk around town, they don't look up. They look straight ahead. I went to the library and I studied this. And more wires are going up and up and up with this coronium. Metal all through the town. It's in metal. It's in weeds. The weeds are over our heads. That 26th Street Bank property, what's going on with that? It's almost a lake right now. And I don't mean to yell and raise my voice, but you know what? I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And I don't deserve it, because this man is jealous. It's all coming to an end. Who in the world gave this guy the right to do what he's doing and make a movie about me? That's millions and millions and millions of dollars going in the state pocket. Whose pocket? Because I don't think if they don't turn to the Lord, they're going to turn to hell. And that goes for everyone. I don't deserve this. I feel like a fool. And I'm not. Far, far from it. And some of you people know me a very long time. My friends and family were taken away from me. They're giving this guy the authority to do whatever he wants in the town, because he's building and putting a studio into this town. And I would love to run across him again. Joe Scudder, Michael Quintella is 90% of the part of this, because I wouldn't let him decontrol my apartment and told me he was going to make me miserable for the rest of my life. Is this what happens because you have a little bit of money? He should go back to Spain. Because if I see him in the street, I'm going to let him know. Just about two seconds from going to his house. But I don't want to get arrested. It's not what I'm about. But I know some of them were arrested over and over and over again. And I'm sorry to be loud. I didn't mean to be loud. But Donna, I think you have something to do with chemicals, right? Okay, do you know anything about what? You go on 24th Street, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you could hear that meter running, 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 and you could see Cheryl just about breathing, running to the ER. Can't even go in my own apartment. Can't even go live in my apartment.
All right, Cheryl.
No, there is no right. There is no
Cheryl,
right.
you had 5 minutes. I have to ask you to sit down.
He was here for longer than 5 minutes.
It was an
He was here
open
longer than 5.
hearing
I
on
didn't
the
get an
budget.
answer. Who gave Boswick the
This is not a
authority?
question and answer period. You know this. You've been here almost every month.
I don't care. I'll be here and I'll keep coming
I
here.
have to have you escorted back to your seat. Is
If
that
you
what
want to
really
do that,
want?
Gary, do it.
I really don't wanna
Where's
do
the
that.
answer that I'm asking you a
nicely.
question?
I'm
Wha-
asking you nicely to go down.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, all the questions you just asked, not about those individuals, but about the chromium and all that.
No, I'm asking you, who gave the authority?
I actually researched everything for you, gave you phone numbers. To
There
call.
is no research. Who gave the authority? I
Cheryl,
want one
we're
answer.
not having this back and forth again.
It's not back and forth. Who gave the authority for these chemicals to be put around town?
Nobody gave authority, Cheryl. We've gone over this time
Somebody
and
had
time,
to.
time and time again. You're saying there are chemicals in there. We don't accede
Yes,
to that.
you do. Yes, you don't lie. Don't lie.
No, I don't. And
Don't
Cheryl,
lie.
you know what? At this
You're
point,
all over the telephone pole.
you
Don't lie. And the
these
an-
questions have been asked and answered several times in public and hundreds of times in private, Cheryl. I'm sorry. The council
gas and
president is
electric
correct.
meters-
You've asked the questions, you've gotten answers you don't like. I can't help the
Not
fact.
that I don't like.
No.
The gas and electric meter on the telephone pole on 24th Street, on the side of it, tells you about the chemicals. I just happened to notice it, and I read it. Wait.
And we have
I
no
found-
authority, and
Somebody
you've
showed
asked and
me-
answered, asked and answered,
Don't
Cheryl.
look at the ceiling, look at me. Somebody
I'm
showed
looking at
me
you right
the
now and
bill.
telling you you don't like the answer. No one from the city of Bayonne gave any authority to do that.
I didn't
told
say
you that
that.
time and time
I
again,
said,
Cheryl.
who gave
And
the authority?
We don't know.
Several times.
We don't know. We
On
did
the
not.
gas and electric meter, the bill from PSE&G
Okay.
says unknown.
Cheryl, you need to go.
I'll go there tomorrow, okay?
Says unknown.
Cheryl, tell me where it is and I will go tomorrow.
It's all over every telephone pole in Bayonne. But the specific one that I seen that runs all night is right outside
Donna, I know
of
exactly
Aaron's
where it
Gold,
is. I-
right next to it. And why would his nephew say to me, Cheryl, I can't wait to see you and your family
Cheryl,
die
thank
from
you very much.
formaldehyde?
We're going to investigate it tomorrow with Donna.
I will go.
Thank you. She didn't like my answers.
Mr. Gass?
Didn't like my answers.
I guess it starts when I speak, okay? Quick question about the
Just
state
say
law.
your name and address.
Again?
Please, yeah.
All right, Jason Gass, 73 East 25th Street. Just a question about the state law that I saw come up about the lead-based paint inspections. July 22nd of this year is the deadline to have a lead-safe certificate or lead-free certificate on file. Has the city done anything with promoting, I guess, this news to residents? I see, Jay, you did respond to the Oprah. I see who was selected. It was an independent inspector, and the city's paying $17,000 up until the end of this year. Is that to offset costs to a homeowner when they schedule? Or is the inspection free if we call the city for them to come in?
I'm not sure how the particulars of the program work. You have to give me a call tomorrow, I'll get you all the answers on that.
All right, because I did see in the Oprah request that it goes based off the RFP schedule that was submitted.
Right, but that's a certified lead-free paint inspector, right. I don't know how the program actually works, though, Jason. I just know we had to retain one.
Because the city didn't offer them one themselves.
Again, I don't know the particulars of the program, but I know we had to retain one. and we
All right, I
retained-
guess my question is if there's a home that doesn't have a lead-safe or lead-free certificate on file on July 23rd, and I was reading the state law, that the city can, I guess, send a violation out and allow 30 days for the homeowner to cure. And if the homeowner doesn't take interim or abatement measures within 30 days, the city can now fine the homeowner up to $1,000 per week. Now, if the state gets a complaint that the city isn't following up with homeowners who need to have these lead-safe or lead-free certificates, the state can then invoke a $1,000 fine to the city of Bayonne every week for not complying with state law. Does anybody know any details on this?
I'm familiar with it, we're working with DCA, I don't know if that deadline is going to stay, I don't know if that's a static date. It's not the city's, it's not going to be the city's position to violate anybody. We're working with, I'm speaking with a couple of consultants about how to devise the city's program. We have some grant money available, but the grant money is very specific as to how the city can use it. It's to staff people to make sure that the lead inspections are going forward, to respond to complaints.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, from what I did some research myself, that Bayonne is a visual inspection only. It's not a dust sampling like other cities. So theoretically, an independent lead inspector can be hired by a homeowner to come in and do a visual inspection with pictures. And if he notices no peeling or cracked paint, there's a potential you can get a lead-safe certificate that would be then submitted to the city with a $20 surcharge that goes into a lead paint fund for abatement purposes. I'm just curious, because I was reading the state law, for it to be amended and not have that hard date of July 22nd of 2024, would that be something the governor has to do
Yeah, it's.
to amend the law?
It's the DCA,
The DC
regulatory agency that's dealing with that, yes.
Okay. So are we just going to hope for the best, or are we going to be proactive?
Well, the city doesn't conduct the inspections. The property owners conduct the inspections.
Correct. So what I'm hearing is the city's not going to have a hard stance in violating people that don't have lead-safe or lead-free certificates on file by July 22nd.
I don't think she said those exact words. I think what she's saying is the DCA is even cognizant of the fact that the July 22nd, 2024 deadline might not be a realistic one.
Got it. All right. Because this law, I believe, was introduced 3 years ago, but actually became live 2 years ago in
This has
2022.
been about, other than the long-term control plan statute and mandates, is about the most liquid or fluid of the environmental things I've ever seen, because they're trying to nail down something. It's a state pushdown. The state decides they're going to do that, and then we're left with the practical aspects of it. And then
Right. Initial
homeowners,
enforcement falls on the municipality, but the state then has ultimate authority
Right,
to come
right.
in and say, hey, you didn't do what you're supposed to. Now
Right.
we're gonna fine you, and guess what? If we're fining you, you're gonna now fine the homeowner.
and the DCA has an issue because they're underfunded and understaffed also. So
So do you expect it perhaps to be revised? So we should not worry, or should we move forward with independent
I think
inspection?
The law is the law.
The law is the law.
Yeah,
We should
yeah.
move forward and get inspections, correct?
yes.
All right, so can you please find out for me how much the cost is? You gave the guy $17,000 for the contract. How much would it cost a homeowner to call the guy you hired for lead paint inspections?
I don't know that, I've got to look at it. Jason, give me a call tomorrow. I'll look at the contract tomorrow. The particulars of the program, I couldn't sit here and pontificate about. But tomorrow, give me a buzz and I'll read up on it.
All right, because I was able to broker a deal for everybody. I called a bunch of them, and the guy does it for $250. He doesn't charge per bedroom like Gloucester does. They start at $250, they go to $275 for a two-bedroom, they go to $300 for a max of a three-bedroom or more. My guy started at $250 regardless how many bedrooms you have, but I brokered a deal because I'm a realtor, and he knocked it down to $225. He took $25 off the price. So I'm assuming hopefully that the deal you made with the guy is cheaper than $225.
We don't make a deal. We put it out for an RFP or RFQ, and they submit proposals.
And you paid $17,000 for the calendar year.
I believe that's the number, yeah.
Has any money been spent at all yet?
I have no clue, Jason. Don't know.
No, we have not spent that money yet.
Okay.
That is a lot of carve-outs, it's not every property owner, it's a whole list of carve-outs. For instance, if you're in a multifamily property, 3 families and above, and you had a green card
Yes,
issued
you-
in the last 10 years.
Correct.
And the green card inspection did not reveal
Any lead
any
paint
issue with
violations,
lead.
then you're exempt.
All you have to do is you fill out a certification and you upload it right on DCA's.
Correct. So this mainly, and I'll close with this.
Yeah,
This
let's
main-
wrap this up.
This mainly just impacts one-family homeowners that are renting out their one families, two-family homeowners that are renting, or 3 families not registered to the state with a DCA. Technically, you're supposed to have a DCA certificate for 3-family above, but some people don't register 3 families with the state. It's just, I've been in real estate. I know how it is. It's just the way it is. So I guess my gripe is that, and I'm a little discouraged, that we didn't take a proactive approach knowing that this was a law from 2 years ago to alert the public, like, hey, this is going to happen. This is a state law. Make sure you guys take care of this. You said the $17,000 that was allocated in the beginning of the year, not $1 has been spent towards the program yet.
But the $17,500 is not to pay for inspectors to go out and inspect. It's if there's a violation, if there's a violation, or if a homeowner or a tenant finds that there's alligator paint or chipping paint, they would call the city would send out an inspector, and then we would pay the inspector. We had to hire, but to be honest with you, I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
Let Jay get back
All
to you
right, Jay.
tomorrow, and then I think that'll probably tighten up some of your questions.
All right, appreciate it, thanks.
Madeline? Is there another speaker?
No, that's it.
Okay.
09 is an ordinance for introduction. It is a bond ordinance providing for the improvements to various roads, appropriating $2,700,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,700,000 bonds or notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorized in and by the City of Bayonne in the County of Hudson, New Jersey, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, July 17th at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage. It's moved by the Council President. Ms. Weimer, will you second?
Second.
On that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
010 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving an amendment to the 8th Street Rehabilitation Plan for the 26th North Street, and a resolution moved by Councilmember Perez fixing Wednesday, July 17th at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage. Mr. Booker, will you second? Second. On the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
11 has been withdrawn. 012 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, July 17th at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage. The resolution is moved by Councilmember Carroll. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And this will be adding 6 restrictive parking zones. And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye. 013 is going to be tabled.
Table.
Yeah, and on that, I'm going to give you what I propose is going to be the ordinance that would be introduced next month, but I've got to sit with the directors, each of the directors for each department, to go over what our responsibilities are. We have never had a, can I have that back just for a second? That's yours right there. A public assemblies ordinance that deals with block parties, farmers markets, festivals, parades, essentially public assemblies. And it's 2024, and this happens more often than not now that we're provided something at the last minute. This by entities that want to have public assemblies. So this gives it some semblance of order and lays out to an entity that wants to have one of these things what has to be provided to the City of Bayonne so we can ensure that garbage, bathrooms, police coverage, all that kind of roads is covered. We've done it by the seat of our pants for the past 70 years, and we can't keep doing it that way anymore. So this is, but I have to go over this with each of the directors because each director is going to be involved in if there's food, the health department's involved. If there's vendors, the clerk's office, it's a pretty complicated process. So I'm giving you the draft of it. I'm going to sit with the directors over the next month to talk about what the responsibilities are, and then hopefully it gets introduced in July.
Moving forward, communications is a resolution moved by the council as a whole. It orders the following communications to be received and filed. It covers C1 through C9. Any questions on the communications? No questions. Mr. Booker? Aye. Mr. Carroll? Aye. Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer? Aye. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
Officers' report is a resolution moved by the council as a whole, ordering the following officers' reports to be received and filed, and any resolutions incorporated within to be adopted. It covers OR1 through OR3. Any questions on the officers' reports? And on the officers' reports, Mr. Booker? Aye. Mr. Carroll? Aye. Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer? Aye. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
Resolutions, consent resolutions is moved by the council as a whole. It orders the resolutions to be adopted. It covers CR1 through CR17. Any questions on the consent resolutions? Which one?
CR 11, CR 12, CR 13.
Let me vote on the
Yeah,
other
come up
ones
to the
first.
podium and give us your name and address, and Ms.
Let me-
Mack, you
I'll
want to
hold on.
come to this other podium?
Gary, let me take a vote on
Yeah.
the other consent.
Okay,
So on the
sorry.
remaining consent resolutions, Mr. Booker? Aye. Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Perez? Aye. Ms. Weimer? Aye. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
CR 11 is the authorizing the submittal of an application to the Hudson County Open Space Trust Fund for a portion of the BH walkway at Mott Bay for $500,000 on $1 million of improvements.
Hi there. Just,
Good evening, Mike. How are
yeah,
you?
good, good.
So you want me to tell you what the project is, or? what's
yeah, what the,
question?
where it is and everything like
Okay,
that. All the walkways are 100% with them and it's terrific. I just thought the
Sure.
information is
So,
great.
two
Where?
things. As you know, the County of Hudson, we pay a half penny tax to Hudson County Open Space Trust. Then the money is returned to us every year. It was suspended during COVID for a couple of years, and then last year we started to get it back. This year, we were eligible for $750,000, which was allowed for two projects to be submitted, which were developed by Rob Russo and Tom Cotter and Andy Reichel, who does the walkway stuff. So this morning, we had the Hudson County Open Space presentation. And in fact, I can send you the PowerPoints from them because those will probably answer all of your questions. Darren Mizell from CME did the Veterans Park one, and Andy did the waterfront walkway. On the waterfront walkway one, it is a continuation of the walkway that is out at Moppy. If you and I were walking it or driving it, you know, when you, before you get to the area where the walkway is, and then after you get there, down to the Port Authority space, which is where the ferry terminal is going to be. This doesn't go onto the ferry terminal site, it puts that in. It's the area now that is kind of just dirt and grass. You're coming down, driving east, and then you have the nice walkway, and then it stops. This walkway, which would be 1.2 million, will continue it right up to where the ferry terminal will be, which
Okay.
is on the.
Where that old dirt mound used to be and
Right,
everything like that, that's now
exactly.
flat. Okay.
Now, Andy developed an estimate for 1.2. He was hoping to get 750. He was unaware that under the grant regulations, you can't get more than 500,000. So that came out. He also said this morning that he will have the bid ready for the council at the September meeting, and then it would not be awarded. Hopefully, they would be awarded in November, because the way the Hudson County Open Space Trust works, we get the money. The freeholders vote on it. There'll be several public hearings on the recommendations, and they always award at the September freeholder meeting. So you can't get it. You can't award until you get the actual contract. But we already have letters from the county. It's a process we go through every year, and it's the same thing on the Veterans Park project. And so I can get you the PowerPoints. I think that would answer your questions. It's got the budget in it.
Okay.
But I also want to tell you while I'm up here, I'm also putting in, I don't need a resolution on it, but I'm putting in a walkway for the ferry terminal. I'm putting that in on this Friday to the FTA, Federal Transit Administration. Now that we have an operator and the ferry project is, you know, coming to fruition, we can reapply for that. So I'm putting in an application for $6.8 million. Don't know if we'll get it, but certainly the walkway portion is, a little small. I think it's 1.8. So we're trying to move ahead to get that walkway.
Okay, and on the walkway where, you know, you have the walkway now, right by the Lidl, and then it stops at the LA Fitness, because new construction they're doing. And that building's almost done now. The
That-
developer there's putting that walkway through.
Yes, and Andy has it, and Director Cotter was at the meeting this morning. Andy has it like mapped out in colors, what's going to be planned to get us right down to the ferry, where the ferry would
okay.
be. But he had a schedule that said that if he awarded it in November, it would be actually done by the spring. So I think it was received very well because everybody wants to be able to go out and walk.
Oh, yeah, it's terrific. It's terrific. Okay, and on the walkway with, I guess then the other one is
Yes,
at
so-
Veteran Stadium, that's for the walkway or is it for
No,
the stadium
that's-
itself?
Director Cotter, it's his project. It was actually for the multipurpose park there,
That's for
right?
the park that's
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
We're going to do an upgrade to the park that's down,
Right.
that little playground there, and
Yeah.
then exercise equipment, that area right there. That's what it's going to be done.
Oh, okay.
But we have the applications that we submitted to the county. They have some little maps in them but drawings and stuff like that. I can get you all of that.
Oh, that's great. And the Newark Bay?
The Newark Bay is another thing that we've been working with DEP very successfully. Alan Miller and crew that comes from them. This is actually for the Newark Bay that was already built. It's about 5 years old, the application, and we've built it. And we've done a complete inventory of all our grants for DEP to try to straighten them all out and get the most we can. And Donna just walked out, but we spent $1.8 million, with grants and various things, but we actually can collect $913,000 if we get the paperwork in by July 6th. So that's a chunk of change to get back for the city, because all these grants are, you have to put, just like Ms. Maurer was tonight, bonding for roads. When you get these grants, majority, not all of them. Sometimes you get some money up front, but most of the time you have to bond, and then you get the money back, and you pay off those bonds. So this was good news, but you haven't seen it yet, the council, but the letter came in today from DEP, same area, that we got 1.450 and 750, whatever that comes to, for a continuation of this walkway on Newark Bay. So that was a project that Mr. Cotter had requested.
And we don't know where that is, that location
No,
in Newark Bay yet until,
It continues. I did the public hearing with you all in February. I was here,
Oh.
you were here, and we were able to receive 2 grants from DEP. Just got the letter of approval in today, so that'll be sent over to everybody. But I guess what I'm trying to tell you is there is a lot of walkway work being done on both sides. Director Cotter's really been the prioritized the Newark Bay walkway, and, from Murkowski.
oh, yeah, I know, it's terrific.
Done remarkable work, but, yeah, Joe Skillender and Outford people have been prioritizing the MOPI stuff, so good news.
Okey dokey, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No, on any of them? Because these were mine. Thanks. Any other questions on that?
So on CR 11, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
On CR 12, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And on CR 13, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R1 is a resolution moved by Councilmember Perez, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with McManaman, Scotland and Bauman LLC for professional legal services as special redevelopment land use counsel on behalf of the city for a period commencing January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, for a total contract amount of $50,000. Mr. La Palusa, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R2 is moved by Councilmember Perez, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a right-of-way agreement with Sarah Supermarkets, Inc., doing business as ShopRite for the purpose of installing and maintaining a shopping cart containment system in the city's right-of-way between Block 182, Lot 11, and Block 188, Lot 24, along Avenue C, and into the right-of-way located along West 25th Street and extending across the street to its parking lot for an annual fee of $500.
Move it.
Yes, Mike?
I'm just curious, what is all this going to entail? I know with the shopping cart problem at ShopRite, it's pretty heavy duty and the carts, and I know when I go down where the Public Works have a whole dumpster full of carts.
Mike, it's essentially an electronic gate. It's a locking system so that the carts can't be moved from the premises.
And that'll be on the other side also now?
It's going to be under, the materials will be laid under the macadam, under the street, and it'll prevent the carts from being, there's a mechanism on it that'll prevent the car from being taken off site.
I see. And before they used to have it, the guy would unlock it and let him go.
Right.
Now
Right.
that's going to be done with.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike, they used to unlock them to let them go to the parking lot because they never had agreement to extend that magnetic strip to the parking lot. Now that strip is going to go out to the parking lot and then go up 26th Street so that they're going to be boxed in. They won't have to unlock them. They'll be able to go across to the lot. Once they get to the lot, they will then lock. They won't be able to then escape the lot. So hopefully, this is going to solve the problem, and we won't have to impound their carts any longer. They won't be all over the street. We won't have to pick them up. And ShopRite's been working with us to try to do it. We've been finding them over the last year and a half, and, they really want to solve the problem. So hopefully, this plan they have now will secure all the carts, and we won't be seeing the carts all over our city streets any longer.
Yeah, I know, because you guys done a wonderful job, and when I go down to municipal garage, I couldn't believe how many carts were there, and they just leave them there. It's really strange, but no, this would be great then. Thank you.
And on R2, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R3 is authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a right-of-way agreement with Rat Khalid's, I don't know how to say his last name, and I apologize, for the purpose of installing and maintaining a new off-street parking space into the city's right-of-way located at 18 West 40th Street, and for an annual fee of $500 payable to the city.
Move it.
Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R4 is authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a right-of-way access agreement with Public Service Electric and Gas to allow PSE&G to close the sidewalks of Evergreen, Orient, and Lynette Street surrounding the Bergen Point substation located at Evergreen and Orient Street for the purpose of staging equipment for the demolition and rebuild of said substation, disconnecting old sewer water pipes in the sidewalk, and restoration of the sidewalks in accordance with the planning board approval number P 23021 and the site plan attached hereto and made part hereof. The sidewalk closures shall be for a period of 3 years commencing July 8th.
Madeline,
Yes.
we have a couple representatives from Public Service. Did you want to speak or just give us a little overview of what?
Good evening, members of the City Council of Bayonne. The project that we currently are embarked upon at our current substation is the complete rebuild of that site. We've also have purchased properties, 219, 221, and 223, and encompass that into the actual footprint of the new site. The new site would increase the reliability in the area, increase the load capacity for the area, So a lot of the conversations tonight have been about improving infrastructure, building. That particular site will allow for that. Increasing that capacity possibly fivefold, depending upon how many clients and commercial entities are going to be installing equipment in the area and building in the area. So this is an upgrade that we're doing at many other locations. Currently, I'm doing one in Hackensack for the city of Hackensack in our Hackensack substation. And this is the next project on queue for our project team. Noreen is our permitting manager. What I should have said in the beginning is, my name is Gene Hernandez, and I am the senior project manager in charge of that project. Noreen is our permitting manager, and if you have any questions regarding the permitting process that we went through and presented in front of the board before, she is here to be able to answer any of those questions.
The addresses that you gave are located on Orient Street?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an old service station and a dwelling that we took over. and
219, 221, and 223, is that right? Okay.
The plan is to demolish those and then to begin our portion of the construction. The way most of our projects start is that we have to build a station around station, so we have to build a contingency station, which has the same capacity and reliability as the existing station. So then we have the freedom to build a new station. So we're starting that.
And there'll be no lapse in service, obviously,
Exactly,
right.
exactly. So it's basically a station around a station temporarily until we build a new one, but with the same level of reliability. And then once we build a new one, we transfer our load from the station around the station to the newly built station at the
You
site.
don't foresee any lapse at all in?
No, usually this is very seamless. The new station, and Noreen can go over this also, is above the flood plain. And it will not only reinforce the area from the standpoint of infrastructure improvement, but it'll also safeguard any flooding concerns in the future and for many years to come.
All right, quick question. I'm sorry, I startled you, Councilman Booker. I noticed here, just a little clarification on the sidewalk closures. It says 3 years. Now, what impact is that going to have on the neighborhood and people moving around in that area? Because 3 years is, for the public to understand what's going on.
Yeah, sure.
My name's Noreen Morayner, and I had filed the applications to the planning board for this. The properties we're buying along Orient, our idea is that we would close the sidewalks. Now, we believe that the foot traffic will not be adversely impacted because there's no longer going to be a house and the auto body shop on the corners of Orient and Linnet. We believe the foot traffic can probably go to the other side of the street. We will still allow parking along Evergreen, Linnet, and Orient. What we'll do is we'll put orange and white water-filled barriers. That's because when people open their car doors, none of us want to be slamming into a Jersey barrier or even a wire fence. We thought the plastic would be safest for everyone. What we'll do is we'll have chain link fence on top of those barriers. Also, we'll put screening around it. That way, people will not be looking directly into the substation. We thought they probably don't want to see all the innards of construction and what amounts to sausage making. Okay. So we'll have the screen around it. So we don't think it'll be any serious impact. Now, we do acknowledge there'll be some times during the 3 years when we have to get equipment into the site. And what we're thinking is that's going to be the transformers. So we'll have to close down part of the street at that point. But we anticipate that we'd have plenty of notice so we can notify all the owners, either letters or door hangers, and also possibly maybe we even want some sort of electronic type of equipment that would say road to be closed on such and such date, in case people don't.
Yeah, a message board or something
We're
would be
thinking a
great.
message board.
Absolutely.
Also, we could put a notice on the city's website so people are aware. And certainly, when we're moving transformers, I fear that most of the city will know that we're doing this, because it'll be a big operation for us. But we need to do this because this station is almost 100 years old. It's time and past to upgrade it. The station, as many of you know, doesn't look all that great right now. We're fixing that. It'll have decorative brick facade. It will also have ornamental decorative fence around it, landscaping, and probably best of all, it is elevated 5 feet above regulatory flood level. This is because when we started designing it, NJDEP was considering regulations that would require this. We said, we'll just do it, because sooner or later the regulations will pass. And maybe this year the regulations will pass, but we'll have already built above flood elevation. So we've also handled stormwater management, because we're all aware of what happened during various storms. And in fact, the substation basement had flooded during Hurricane Ida almost 3 years ago. But we will be there for 3 years because this is an important project. We have to take the required time to do it correctly and make sure there's no interruption in service at all.
We welcome this project. We know the building and how it's needed, and there's flooding in that area, so it's good that you put it up. Even if you're exceeding their limits now, you know at some point they'll probably come up to where you're at.
You,
Of course. I wish we did not, but we do.
And is the flooding that you're protecting your property by going up higher, is that going to affect the flooding for the surrounding street to make that worse? And
Leslie, can you come up to the microphone, please?
That's it, she heard me.
Yeah,
We
but
don't
the
bel-
public has to hear you as well. The council and the public has to hear you.
Okay, so I
Do we
just.
pay taxes and will
Yes,
we
you
make
said
flooding
yes.
worse?
Yes. And will you help to improve that entire area's flooding problems?
Yes, we will. The way we're doing it is we have to comply with current stormwater management rules that were adopted by NJDEP last summer in July. So we actually have to reduce some of our impervious coverage to make sure we are not increasing flooding during the 1, 10, and 100-year flood storm. So therefore, we do believe we're doing something better than what is currently there.
But only exactly where your property is. You're not improving the condition of the remainder of the street for the
What, in the case of flooding, no, but what we will be doing is restoring all of the sidewalks around Orient, Lennet, and Linnet, where our substation is, and we expect we're going to repave those roads as well.
But
Excellent.
if you're going to go through that effort, couldn't you at the same time improve whatever and work with the city to improve whatever is underneath that structure that's old at the same time before you put a new sidewalk on old sewer pipes? Like, couldn't you-
Leslie, they're doing a whole new building. They're like completely renovating everything.
For their section, but what about for the rest of the street that's on that?
well, they're talking about repaving. Let
They're
me
gonna repave
address something.
the asphalt and the sidewalk.
What about what's
You-
under the repaving of the sidewalk?
That gets dealt with in the repaving. When they tear it up, they find out what's underneath. What I'd like to say is, I'm the councilman of that ward. You've put me at ease, because I was very nervous about this. You've answered almost every question. In fact, I'm going to be in that neighborhood in the upcoming days, so I think the neighbors will actually be happy to hear this information you provide us. Do you two have cards on you that you could?
Yes.
And we could stay in touch throughout this process?
We
Thank you.
welcome that. We'd also like to mention, we know that the area is very congested. So we have really tried to figure out what we're going to do about traffic control during that time. We have an old manufactured gas plant site that has been remediated. That's on Oak Court. It's maybe a quarter of a mile away. Less than that, sorry. So what we will do is, right now, it is vacant. It has grass on top of it. What we will do is put filter fabric on top of the grass and then crushed stone and we will have our crews park there and walk over, because what we did not want them doing was parking on the city
That's
streets.
the fenced area, right? The fenced-in area?
Yeah, the fenced-in
The
area
area
there.
is fenced.
Yeah, right.
What we will do is we'll even put up a screen around the area, again, so people don't have to look into the facility to see what we're doing. What we will do at that parking lot is our crews will park there. Also, we will store equipment that later gets moved to the station. But our whole aim is to try to keep the streets free of public service vehicles.
All right.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Okay, I just want to jump in real quick, too. Just for the public's knowledge, I think it's a fantastic project. I am a representative of the council for the planning board, so I've seen you two before, and I appreciate the information that you're putting out. And as far as the 3 years in the street, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, the adverse effect it would have on the community, the project that you're putting up together is absolutely 100 years old. It's outlived its due. And it's a fantastic project, and the water flood and everything that you're referring to was presented to the planning board, and it's a very, very good project. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, we appreciate
Any
it.
other questions?
Well, I think we're all set. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're looking
Gary, I'd
forward
just
to-
like to add that there's also a representative from PSE&G, Mr. McQueen. He's been in touch with Public Works on a regular basis. He's our representative here in Bayonne, and he's been talking to us about this project, and he's assured us that he's going to work with us on this, and we don't foresee any problems right now with
They've been very
PSE&G at all.
informative, right? I would say so.
Actually, this morning, I believe he had a conversation with Jackie from Public Works, and so they've been, you know, very good about how they're going to go about it and how they're not going to impact the neighborhood, and their goal is to make it better and try to do minimal impact on the neighborhood. So I think it's going to be a good project all in all.
Okay, here. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation.
And who'd like to move it?
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R5 is authorizing the preparation of a redevelopment plan for the property located at 50 Agnes Street, which is identified as Block 232, Lot 10, as shown on the official tax map of the city of Bayonne pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Can you say what that will become?
Yeah, you have to, if you have a question on it, you have to come up to the microphone. You cannot yell from your seat.
Can you say what that property is going to become? Leslie Cohen, 91 West 46th Street. Can you tell us if it's a redevelopment plan, what is it now and what will it become?
Joe,
So-
can you answer that?
Sure. So for the request that was made by this property owner, he's using the rehab designation under the local redevelopment law on that. So he's at the start of this process on that. So we have a bare minimum concept on it, but it's going to be a very small, maybe 2-3 multifamily
A very
unit.
small 2 or 3?
Yeah, multifamily unit.
And what is it now?
Right now, it's a garage, right now.
So the parking space that it takes up now is for maybe one car, and it's going to have a 3-family?
Again, for this resolution here, this is, again, authorizing the planning board to conduct the study to look at the.
Okay, well, I don't
the
live
redevel-
on that street, but I'm sure that,
But
you know.
it will have the proper, appropriate parking regulations within there for the off-site parking on there, so.
Okay. Thank you.
R6 is authorizing the planning board to conduct a preliminary investigation to determine whether the property is located at 1191-1195, 1197, and 1199 JFK Kennedy Boulevard, which is identified as Block 32, Lots 10, 11, and 12, as shown on the official tax map of the city of Bayonne, constitutes a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment.
Move it.
And question?
What does that mean? I'm sorry, but, if I'm going to be here, I'd like to understand things.
Sure. So,
This is up by Kennedy House, right?
yes, it's a little bit before that. I believe
It's like
it's
two
52nd,
doors in front of it.
51st Street.
Yeah.
There, I forget the exact.
54th.
So what does that mean, the non-condom, what does that mean?
So, under the local housing and redevelopment law, there's a designation that would have to conduct a study to see if it fits the criteria to qualify as an area needed redevelopment. So what this resolution here is doing is asking the planning board to start that process and conduct the study that the planning board presents here's testimony on whether or not it meets the certain criteria for redevelopment that
Like as in an apartment building?
well, no. Whether or not the current property of it, is abandoned, vacant, not utilized to the best of its ability. In the UEZ zone, there's a enumerated
Right, so
list of criteria.
the corner of that property is vacant land that's for sale. And then there's those two, I love those buildings, those old buildings that nobody's in right now. But so are you considering, is the owner of those buildings asking you to consider redevelopment? Or are you going in there to condemn those buildings?
We're not condemning any of these buildings. The request for this came from the owners themselves.
okay.
And again,
So you're going to
as-
decide what it
Well,
can become?
again, part of the start of the local, for the area needs study, the planning board looks at whether or not it meets the criteria on that, and then it makes a recommendation to the city council on whether or not it does or does not meet the
So
criteria. But
Is
the other thing,
vacant land next to it, is that part of those two?
it's this vacant land that I think, the property north of that. But again, the block and lots are listed here with that. Those are the ones that are being, sought for now.
Oh, okay.
And on R6, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Seven-
Madeline, R7, 8, and 9 will be tabled.
Yes. We move on to R10. It's authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with John T. Deduces, M.D., for professional medical services for non-uniform employees for a period of 1 year, for a period commencing June 13, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, for an amount not to exceed $15,000.
So moved. Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
I have two add-ons. Do you want to take those before we go into closed session?
Yes.
Okay. So add 1, which is not on your agenda, is authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with USA Architects Planning and Interior Design LTD for professional architectural services as the city's architect in connection with municipal work for a period commencing June 12, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, for a total contract amount not to exceed $25,000.
Move it.
Second.
And on add 1, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Add 2 is also for architectural services, and this is with USA Architects Planning and Interior Designers LTD, and this is in connection with the developers and redevelopers for a period of commencing June 12th through December 31st, 2024, for a contract amount not to exceed $100,000. Would like to move it?
Second.
On that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R11 is authorizing a closed session to discuss matters involving a settlement litigation pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12. Would like to move it. And are we preparing to come back out?
We will be coming back out,
Okay.
and there probably will be action.
So on the resolution for closed session, Mr. Booker.
You want to call me, Leslie?
Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye. So, second.
And on the motion to reconvene, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Okay, we went into closed session in order to discuss the potential settlement of several lawsuits that were filed in connection with zoning regulation that we passed, I guess, back in '22 regarding the cannabis ordinance. And the resolution would be, after discussing the terms of the settlement, would be to authorize the law director to enter into a settlement agreement with the plaintiffs, the sum and substance of which is that they will dismiss the lawsuit without prejudice. The lawsuit will cease to exist. And the most salient points are, number one, that the property owner will be allowed to utilize the property to park vehicles, and the definition of vehicles is limited to essentially cars, Sprinter vans, and cabs of trucks, not trailers. And I see Mr. Prasad is in the room. We talked about maybe adding a gross weight limitation to it, just to be real specific when we get down to brass tacks. That might be a thing that prevents any deviation from the norm. And it would allow the property owner to utilize the property to park those vehicles there. Would also allow us to utilize our property, the city of Bayonne's property that abuts it, for use as a pound for our vehicles that we impound. And that would be for a 2-year period, and there would be a potential for a third 1-year period that would be added on to that, so long as the plaintiff and the property owner is actively pursuing planning and zoning applications, if necessary, for specific purposes, mostly which is based in recreational use down there. It's all fully set forth in the settlement agreement that will end up being a public document. And so the resolution would be to authorize the law director to sign the settlement agreement as provided.
We moved it as a whole.
Moved as a whole. So on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye. Have a good evening, everybody.
No, you need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And on the motion to
Um,
adjourn, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye, and I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. We'll see you after the 4th.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day this Sunday as well. Thank you, Madeline.